Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your host, Rob and
Randy.
And we are
the Happy, Healthy Guys.
Look, you're going to want to listen to this episode today. If you wake up tired, dragging through your day, and wonder if it's just how life is now, you're not alone. You are not broken.
No, in today's episode, I'm really pumped about today. This is going to be really, really good. We're going to uncover the real reasons behind your exhaustion, why your body's not able to burn fat, to burn sugar, to actually create usable energy. We're going to show you how to get it back, and it doesn't have to be hard. It's really simple, but you have to understand the cause of the problem because God designed you to have amazing energy. That is the real talk.
Welcome to episode 120, why you're always tired and what to do to get the energy you deserve. It seems like anymore, whenever you have conversations with people and you ask them, and try it out today and see if it happens. But when you ask people, how are you doing? You know, one of the patented answers.
That's a scary question. Yeah. I almost don't even ask that anymore.
It's always one of two different things.
Yeah.
One is, oh my gosh, I am so busy. Or, oh my gosh, I'm really tired. I am exhausted. It seems like I've got so much stuff going on. I can't catch up. And it's just got me feeling so tired. Even though there are a lot of people that have a lot of things going on who actually have a lot of energy and are not tired. And what the heck is different with them compared to what's going on with you? Let's talk about that because what we're seeing right now is that tired has become the new normal, but it just shouldn't be like that.
No, I know two of us that aren't very tired and we're pretty busy. And I think a lot of our community could speak to that as well. Yeah, I know it's a scary question to ask because really that's what you do. You ask, how are you doing? And you can almost just cringe with what you're going to hear back. But the truth is, if you are tired, if you are exhausted, and you just feel like you don't have the energy you used to have, here's the great news. It's not because you're getting older. It's not because you're genetically programmed to be built this way. There really is something going on, and it is a symptom, which we know is a warning sign that something could be off. Now, I'm not saying that your body's not doing the right thing under the circumstances. If you were out drinking all night and didn't get any sleep, heck, you probably are going to be tired. But some of you are really following and trying to put the work in on changing your lifestyle, yet you still feel exhausted. It doesn't matter how much good food you eat, how much exercise you do, or even how much sleep that you get, you just still feel stuck. Something else could be going on, and I think we kind of know what that is.
Yeah, let's talk about what's the number one thing. We're not going to hide this. We're just going to come right out of the gate talking about the number one reason why people are so tired is you've got a blocked metabolism.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
You know, if you look at the word metabolism, you might as well just write metabolism equals energy. That's exactly what it is. That's what your metabolism is. Inside the store, you've got your mitochondria. Your mitochondria's job is to take whatever it is that comes in and convert whatever it is that's coming in, whatever nutrients are coming in, and convert that into ATP, which is usable energy for your body. And so let's talk about some of the reasons why people would have a blocked metabolism. And this could be even the same person. This is you if this is your symptom. And we hear this all the time where they're like, you know what? I got in bed at a decent hour. I felt like I got plenty of sleep, but I still woke up feeling tired. And no matter what it is that you do, you can never catch up. You're like, I can never sleep enough. I can never get enough rest. Or maybe you do get the rest and then you get going for a couple of days. You sleep in, for a few more days and you just feel yourself like you can never get caught back up. This right here could be what's happening to you is that you do have a blocked metabolism and hope is on the way. What are some of the things that can cause a blocked metabolism?
Oh man, it's the list is long and lengthy. Just for simplicity though, I mean, one of the number one reasons you don't have energy is because your body does not have the ability to burn fat for fuel. Okay, very simply, fat is a great source of energy. In fact, it produces more ATP at the mitochondrial level than even glucose. The problem is fat is a little bit harder to utilize or even liberate in a stored state. So a lot of you, we talk about this, a lot of you may not be fat adapted. And when I say fat adapted, we are talking about the body's ability when you eat fat to burn that fat for energy, or if you don't have fat in your diet or that meal didn't have it, your body can actually liberate and burn the stored fat. A lot of you have stored body fat, which is a telltale sign that your body is not fat adapted and it doesn't have the ability to get that fat and use it for energy. One of the number one reasons that could be happening, and we've seen this play out now, and it's really the one thing that's been introduced into our food supply over the last really, I don't know, maybe 100 years at this point, that has a direct correlation with obesity and metabolic disease is industrial seed oil. Seed oil cannot be metabolized for energy. In fact, it's metabolized because it's a toxin. It produces metabolic waste products. Okay, we call those oxalams, right? The oxidative linoleic acid metabolites. These are not energy sources. These are toxins that your body will now have to push into your fatty tissue to keep it out of your organs, out of your brain, to keep you from getting sick and dying. So when you push that into your body fat, that may be one of the reasons why you can actually use the fat on your body and liberate that for energy. You just keep storing more of it.
Yeah, so if if you unpack that and go back and just go, okay, so what are the things, the number one way that your body gets energy, and we'll talk about different ways that your body does get energy, but one of them being from the nutrients or the things that you're eating, okay? And so then your body can then be able to utilize, like you're saying, its fats, end up using that for energy. It can use carbohydrates, and it can also use proteins as well. So these really are your body's three primary energy sources.
Well, protein, we would agree, would be the worst one. If you're burning protein for energy, you're gonna have a big problem.
Yeah. So those are really the three things right there. Yeah. So as we're talking about then with these with what's blocking it, the number one thing that's going to block your body's ability to be able to be fat adapted then is going to be a heavy toxic load. And so that's why if you're walking down the street right now, you are going to be exposed to, there's about 80 to 90,000 different toxic chemicals that we're exposed to on a daily basis, you guys, okay? So you have to make sure that, well, you're decreasing your exposure to the things that you can be able to control. One of the biggest things that you can control by what's going in your body, like you just talked about, is those seed oils. So, and we'll talk about, what it is that you absolutely need to eliminate, what you can be able to add, but that's one of those things. And you also talked about, we always talk about even processed sugar is one of those things. Anything that's processed or doesn't have anything that's real. I was just listening to the video clip that was posted onto our Instagram yesterday. And if you haven't heard it, it's Dr. Randy, and he's talking about what's the difference between real food and then fake food. Real food being food that you can actually set on your counter for the next 3 weeks. You come back and it's gone bad. That's going to be real food, which is when we talk about simply eating real food. So many people are consciously and unconsciously putting fake food into the body, which right there is going to disrupt your body's ability to be able to produce the energy that you need. And that's going to create that person who is getting adequate amounts of sleep, but still feeling tired all the time. Now here, the number one culprit I would say at this time of year, as bad as the seed oils are, it is
and they are bad.
Summertime right now. Okay, summertime is in full effect. We're here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and this last weekend was hot. So when it's hot outside and when the sun's out, guess what else that brings out? Sunscreens.
And sunglasses.
Sunscreens and sunglasses.
The double whammy.
The double whammy. So when you are lathering yourself up with this sunscreen, what you may not even be realizing is that where you think that you're protecting yourself against the sun, and we can talk about that as well, but what you're also doing whenever you're covering up with that sunscreen is you're blocking your mitochondria's ability to be able to adequately and efficiently burn fat for fuel and or carbohydrates for fuel as well. You're robbing yourself of the energy that your body needs. Why is it? Well, because it has toxic chemicals. And I think it's important for us to talk about this even before we start getting into these toxic chemicals, is the fact that, is the sun really as bad as it's made out to be?
No, of course it's not. We've done multiple episodes and had conversations around this. But what's crazy is with everybody slathering on the sunscreen is that there isn't any scientific data or studies that show that putting on sunscreen prevents skin cancer. Yet if you ask anybody on the street, hey, why are you putting on sunscreen? Well, not that you just don't want to be burned. You're like, I really want to help prevent skin cancer. And that just really isn't true. In fact, I was walking this week and it was early in the morning, probably like, I say early, like 8:30, 9 a.m. It was early morning sun. The UV index wasn't very high. The odds of even, getting burned would be almost impossible unless you are chock full of seed oil and wearing sunglasses. And this guy looked like he had both of those going on. But I walked by this guy and I see him coming, this really tall guy. And you could see he had the huge visceral fat or that liver body type where his gut was super distended, very, very large around the midsection.
It looked like he had a big bear belly.
Totally a huge beer belly. And then he had, the love handles too, which, the love handles, if you ever see anybody with love handles, that's really a pocket of the body where the body will push seed oil into that adrenal area. So love handles are a storage facility for seed oil. So you can see it coming.
Can I say something
Yeah.
about this guy? Because it's something that you say quite a bit and it makes me laugh.
Yeah. What's that?
So that you would say that this guy is shaped like a what?
Like a wisdom tooth.
I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it makes me laugh every time. So if you know this person when you see him, and this can also affect women as well. There's a lot of women like this as well.
Well, in women, it's even worse because of they have more fat than men, and they have a tendency that really disrupts your endocrine system because you've got more places to store this. But he's got the all the fat things going on, the storage. And then I see him walking up to me. Of course, he's got on sunglasses. He has on a hat, a long sleeve shirt. He's got on pants. There's no area in his face that isn't covered except for his face. And as I'm getting closer, now I can see that white film of sunscreen covering his face with the sunglasses on. And then I get hit with the smell. I can smell the parabens. I can smell the phthalates. I can feel and smell all of the chemicals as he's literally in the early morning sun, covered up, slathered everywhere, where you're like, oh my God, you can see why this guy, and he's in pain. He's on blood pressure medication because when your liver's congested, you can't create bile, you can't detox, you can't burn fat, blood pressure goes up. He's totally in that metabolic disease state. And it's like, man, what happened? How did we get here? Well, this guy thinks he's doing things to help himself. Plus the sunglasses are blocking the light from getting into the eyes, which the most amount of mitochondria, these energy creating cells are in our eyes. It's called photobiomodulation, where that actually sets the tone for your metabolic profile, all of your hormones and your circadian rhythms. We can keep going, but the sun is not the problem. Who thinks maybe it's the sunglasses, the sunscreen, the polyester clothing that he's wearing, and that liver congestion chock full of seed oil? We got way more problems than the sun. I don't know that the sun is the issue. God made the sun, man made the sunscreen. Choose wisely.
Yeah, listen to this, you guys. Okay, so one of the ingredients I'm looking up the ingredients right now in these sunscreens. And by the way, anytime that you go to any med spa, any person who is a quote expert when it does come to skincare, they will tell you to absolutely put this stuff on your skin. Okay, but here's what's in it. You've got one ingredient that's called oxybenzone. And oxybenzone is absorbed by the skin, but here's the thing, it's detected in breast milk. So that means if you're a breastfeeding mom and then you're putting this on your skin, guess what? It's going directly into your kid, and it is directly linked to reproductive and thyroid issues, okay? Also may cause skin allergies. So this right here, by the way, this has been banned in Hawaii, in Key West, Florida, due to the environmental concerns. There's a lot of other chemicals in there. The last time, in fact, that I was in Hawaii, I was at Waikiki Beach. I wouldn't even get into the ocean. The reason I wouldn't get into the ocean is because you could see there was a film on top of the water from all of the different sunscreens that people were putting onto their bodies as they were getting on into the ocean. I'm like, there is no way that I am getting in there and putting that onto my body. In fact, one of the people that's listening to us live right now said that she had basal cell carcinoma on her face. That's the only place that she used sunscreen. So if it was actually protecting her against the harmful, quote, harmful rays from the sun, that would have never happened.
Well, to that point, if you can't utilize the sunlight, because remember the sunlight provides 2/3 of the energy requirements to the mitochondria, which create the energy. If you're low energy, you can't metabolize toxins, you can't detox, you don't even have the ability to repair your body. So it makes sense why the skin is a good place for the body to push out toxins and to show you what level of health that you have. What's even worse than the ocean is when you look at the swimming pool where it's contained and then you see that film. No way I would ever jump into that water when it's just a chemical bath of toxins.
Yeah, so you've got this one right here, octinoxate. This right here is again banned in Hawaii. It says it is an endocrine and reproductive disruptor. You've got homosalate, that again absorbed in the skin. It's restricted in Europe. It is a hormone disruptor. Again, anytime it's a hormone or an endocrine disruptor, that right there tells you that it is messing up your metabolism. If it's messing up your metabolism, you are not getting the energy that you need. Octocrylene, another one. You've got avobenzone, retinol palmitate. All these things are endocrine disruptors. Then you've got the parabens. All right, that is it. That mimics estrogen and disrupts your hormones again. And then you've got all the fragrances, the phthalates, like you were talking about.
He was approaching me, just getting crushed with it.
Yeah, and then you've got the benzene. That is a known. Get this, y'all. That is a known human carcinogen right there that you're putting directly onto your body's skin, the biggest organ inside your body right there. So one of the things that I love, even with my daughter Isabella right now, with it being summer, I'll be like, hey, do you want to go have a coffee date? You want to go grab some lunch? And then she's always like, well, the UV is going to be at this level. So she's ready to go outside. And does she ever put sunscreen on her body? Heck, to the no. And so I love that they understand the benefits of the sun. So known toxins, you can control that stuff, you guys. Don't put that stuff on your body. Don't put that stuff into your body because that is robbing you
right into the air either.
Your energy. So talk about the next thing that can be able to disrupt your body's energy. That's going to be nervous system burnout, okay? What is nervous system burnout? That right there is the chronic stress. And so we all have stress on us, but stress really, I truly believe, is the ability of you to be able to either respond to different challenges or circumstances going on versus reacting to it. I think a lot of people that are always in reactive mode are always going to be in fight or flight. That's why we talk about the importance of a daily gratitude practice. And we'll talk about some things that we can be doing for these things. But when you are in that chronic state of stress, that's creating inflammation. When you have inflammation, nutrients can't get into the cells. Your body's not going to be producing that ATP efficiently. That's going to decrease your body's ability to be able to create that energy that you need. You're going to feel burnt out, exhausted. And then you've got the overstimulation from things like just phones, the EMFs, the blue light. Y'all, that stuff is a real thing, especially if you look at how the human body is created. If we are really just an energetic biofield, and I'm not saying that coming from a woo-woo place, but scientifically speaking, all your body is just positive and negative charges floating around inside your body. And so most of your body isn't even solid mass.
Yeah, well, going back to the stress component here with the nervous system, that's one of the reasons why metabolically, if your metabolism is broken and you store lots of body fat and your blood sugar drops every couple hours if you don't eat, that just lets us know that your body doesn't metabolize fat. You're not fat adapted. It also lets us know that you're not carb adapted. You don't have the ability to burn glucose for energy, which means, like you talked about earlier, now your body will begin to break down protein. And it's called gluconeogenesis. You basically liberate, you catabolize, you shred your muscle to release amino acids to now form glucose. That is a high stressful, high cortisol state where you are literally living in a chronic place of stress, and it will make you what they call sarcopenic obesity, where you're that really heavy, fat person with no muscle. So you may be skinny, but you've got really high body fat. That is a very stressful state. And now speaking of the nervous system, your nervous system, obviously, it has the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And if you spend most of your time in that fight or flight, in low energy, breaking down muscle tissue. This is the aging process that most people end up in as they're getting older. They're losing muscle, they're getting more fat around their organs, they've got high stress, their body's chock full of seed oil and toxins, and they have no energy, and you blame it on getting older. And it's just not a normal phenomenon. So one of the reasons why we get adjusted chiropractically every single week, I want a clear nervous system, because really you live your life through your nervous system. Your body's ability to adapt to these stresses are regulated through the brain and the spinal cord and the connecting nerves. So this is a huge piece to the longevity play and the energy play. I know, being in practice back in the day, one of the most important things we would see happen clinically is when people would come into the office and start clearing their nervous system, they were much better adapted to stress. And so their energy would go way, way up, and they would sleep way much better. So if you don't have a chiropractor, or you're not taking care of your spinal column and your nervous system, could be a key component to really helping your body adapt to stress, regulate your vagus nerve, and really find yourself in more of a parasympathetic healing repair place.
Yeah, I used to love whenever we would adjust people, and we would do these neuro scans of
Yep.
people's nervous systems, and we would scan them before getting adjusted and after, because people are like, can you really measure that? And the answer to that is you can absolutely measure that, and you would see how much stress had gone down. But you could also see when somebody was in a state of chronic fight or flight, whenever you would do that scan on them,
Yeah.
it would have these different colors, red being the worst. So it was like a red, green, and blue color. And you'd see these people that would just light up all red. And the great thing is that no matter how much stress that they felt like they were under, after they got adjusted, it always went down every single time, 100% of the time. So if you need a great chiropractor, feel free to send us a direct message on Instagram, as long as we know somebody in that area, because not all chiropractors are really created equal or do the same thing.
Like anything,
So
right?
like anything else, so we want to make
Yeah,
sure that we
yeah.
get you somebody who can be able to get your nervous system regulated and stress-free.
Yeah, we're connected with some of the best chiropractors
True
and other
story.
health doctors in the world at this point. So yeah, don't feel like you're alone or don't know what to do. We're here to help you. Could be a game changer. I don't want to live life without chiropractic care.
Yeah, I love this right here. One of the folks that are listening right now to us live and we've worked with says, I like to shock people by telling them that I don't use sunscreen. Happened this weekend after somebody commented on my good tan. That's so funny that that is such
Yeah.
an abnormal thing. But I love the fact that, people put these things into practice and they get to be able to see the results themselves. And another one's commenting in, love this. I don't use any sunscreen either. So I love that. Hey there, thank you so much for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. We appreciate it. Now, if you're somebody who's curious about your metabolism, how you're doing with your metabolism, go to metabolismscore.com, take the quiz, find out where you're at.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. And, we don't make a lot of products, but the products we do make are all metabolically focused. So go check these out. Go to thehappyhealthylife.com. And when you get to checkout, use code podcast to save 10% off any and all of our metabolic friendly products. Yeah, I think the last known photograph of me wearing sunglasses is from 2022. So I stopped wearing sunglasses now for 3 years. And if you burn a lot, it may not even be that you're chocked with seed oil, which has a huge half-life, which is why we created our metabolism program to detox you from that. But if you're wearing sunglasses, you are blocking your eye's ability to biophotomodulate. So you're not going to create the right melanin to protect the skin and protect all the hormones that you're going to be creating when you get exposed to the light. Sunglasses and sunscreen will literally wreck your energy profile.
All right, next one. All right, something that is robbing of your energy. This is going to be probably the most obvious of all of them. It's going to be poor rest, and or what we've been talking about a lot lately that's even more important than the rest is your recovery habits. It's not really about the rest. It's how well is your body recovering while you're sleeping and or resting. Some people may be sleeping, but you're not recovering.
Yeah.
So some of the things that could even cause that could be things like, overtraining. Could be causing that. So working out too much.
I'm guilty of that.
Oh, we've all been guilty of that. Yeah, absolutely. And so also, some of the things that can cause that is just really just the just overstimulation these days. overstimulation through these, through your phone. I don't even know where mine's at, but
That's good.
you're constantly, yeah, exactly. You're constantly scrolling through your phone, whether it's checking emails. Talk about a way to actually ruin your body's recovery is to
Mm,
look at your emails, especially right before you're going to bed at night. That's going to
that's
put
a
your
big
body into
no-no.
a state of stress and or picking that stupid thing up first thing in the morning. Not going to be good for you as well. Not going to allow your body to be able to recover. I know one of the things that we've been using now in order to measure our body's ability to recover are these whoops or a
Yeah.
wearable. There's many of them that are out there, but that allows you to be able to really get an understanding of what is it that is creating so much stress that your body isn't able to get the rest and recover the way it's supposed to, because then you can go ahead and eliminate that. One of the things that we've been talking a lot about recently is the things that you need to remove, take away, and or from a mindset standpoint, we've been talking about all the things that we have to unlearn. Like we had to unlearn that sunscreen was a good thing for your body. I don't know that I ever really had to unlearn that because I just never used it to begin with. Something just didn't sit right with me by putting stuff on your skin that didn't actually rub in like that. It was just weird to me, so I never did it.
I mean, I grew
Um,
up in a family, we just put it on every
did
time.
you?
Yeah, we did. And so you're not thinking as a kid,
Yeah.
but yeah, for the last, 25 plus years, no doubt about it, have not used it because you're thinking, why would I be putting these toxins on my skin when it goes right into your bloodstream? Going back to what we said about, with women who actually have more body fat than men, ladies, you're putting on an average of, 80 to 100 different chemicals on your skin every single morning with your makeups, your lotions, your fragrances, your skincare products, like your shower products, all the things that you're doing literally to make yourself sick, all those things you're putting on your skin are disrupting your endocrine system. They're tanking your energy and they're causing you to store fat. Because remember, one of the problems with being overweight is there's almost always, and I say almost always, maybe always, there is a toxicity component. And if your body is toxic, your body is always going to do the right thing to protect you. This is why we love chiropractic care. It taught us that the body's always doing the right thing under the circumstances. So your body will almost become insulin resistant. That way, your body is forced to go into fat storage mode. That way, you can push the toxins away from your vital organs and brain and push it into the fat. So, ladies, be careful. You need to start looking at everything that you're putting on your skin. A lot of the stuff you're putting on your skin is really causing you to tank your energy and causing you to wreck your hormones. We just recently met an incredible lady who owns a company called Zebra, and they make incredible natural products to start minimizing the toxic load. The owner and founder of the company learned this the hard way with her son and started looking at what are the chemicals that we're being exposed to. So this is a key piece we believe and we know for metabolic health, which is why we really bake that into our metabolism program.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got poor rest and recovery habits. The last one, number five, if you're actually writing down numbers of what it is that we've been talking about that's robbing you of your energy, would be this is probably the one that's the most forgotten about, and that's going to be people. The people that you're around and you surround yourself with. What do they say that, you can really tell a lot about people by the five people that are around them the most. And so I like to refer to people that suck your energy, and you'll feel this is the energy vampires.
Mm,
And so, if your body truly is a bioenergetic field and somebody else's bioenergetic field comes into your bioenergetic field, you can feel it. Are you guys
totally.
with me? To where you're like, oh my gosh, anytime I'm around that person, it just sucks the life or sucks the energy out of me. But on the flip side of that, you ever been around that person that you're like, oh my gosh, I just really love being around that
Yes.
person. I always feel like there's just like everything's always positive, have a lot of energy. I know we have a friend of ours, Dr. Fabrizio Mancini, for example, would
Well,
be
that's a
like
great,
that person.
it's a great example.
Anytime you're around him, it seems like your energy levels just go
Oh, I got
up.
a good one here. How about our good friend Nicholas Zaldestani?
Great energy.
Man, you're
Always
around
great
this
energy.
guy, he lifts your energy. So, and I try to, and I know you do as well, but I try, I don't try. I am that person. I show up and I'm going to come in with great energy because I want to help lift everybody around me. In fact, one of our favorite coffee shops, sometimes I go in there and sometimes people are a little bit low energy. Guys, if you're listening from the coffee shop, I love you. But if you know me, what am I going to come in and do? I'm going to start just creating in a different environment with my energy, my attitude, my questions that I'm asking, my smile. I want to vibrate at that energy. And I'm telling you, it is very contagious. If there is anything that's contagious, your level of how you vibrate, how you show up in your energy, that is powerful. But a lot of people, unfortunately, because what we're talking about, you don't have the metabolic health, you don't feel good, you are tired and sluggish, you feel toxic and run down. It's a little harder sometimes to muster up the energy. I think we have great energy because it's really coming from a place of optimal health, which really is the foundation for everything.
And I think it also comes back to, it really is a principle. If you feel like you don't have that energy, just like you may have one of those days where you feel a little melancholy,
Yeah.
what'll help give you energy really quickly is just give it. Even when you don't feel like doing it,
Yeah.
like that coffee shop that you're talking about. I know that I'll have days where there's a lot of stuff going on and I'm just not feeling it, but I'm going to walk in there and have that energy. In fact, one of the girls that works there, she had introduced me to her fiance the other day. And when he met me, he's like, "Oh, you're Rob. You're the sunshine that she talks about." So,
Great compliment.
yeah, you can be able to be somebody else's sunshine. So always remember that. Don't be the energy vampire. Don't be the person that, when you pick up your phone and you look at it and you can see the name of the person that's calling you on the phone, you're like, and you just hit like the button on the side because you're
Don't
not
be
going to
that guy.
answer it. That's the energy vampire. And that's how you know if you have an energy vampire in your life. That's the person. But don't be that person. And if you don't have any of those people when you're calling, you may be that person.
I was going to say, yeah, you may be that person. If you don't know any energy vampires, it may be you.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So let's talk about the cool stuff, the practical, the do level things, what you can do to be able to get the
Yeah, let's
energy
do it.
that
It's
you
fun.
deserve. That's what we talked about. And so really the first thing to do is start thinking about what are the things that need to be removed.
Yeah.
Before you start adding things to your repertoire, let's start removing things.
Mhm.
The obvious thing, and if you want to know how to do it, we've talked about this a million times, is removing the seed oils from your diet, remove the processed sugars or any of the processed foods out of your diet. You could even remove, for example, the blue light, or remove the EMFs. Put your phone on airplane mode. If you're not using your phone, put it
Yeah.
on airplane mode so that you're not actually getting the EMFs that are actually blocking your own body's energy field. And like we just talked about, you know what? Don't put that toxic crap on your body. Remove those things right there. So if we're going to remove those things, what are some things that we can add? And I think the one thing that people are always going to go to is what can I change with my diet to be able to get more energy?
Yeah, it's where you typically go, and I love to go there as well. So there's no better thing to go to. It is the lowest hanging real food. It is SCT oil. This is very powerful, guys. When you start to minimize and literally not even minimize, there's just no need to eat seed oil any longer. When you eliminate it, a great replacement are short chain fatty acids. These are the short chain triglycerides that are rich in these fats. And the beauty of these fats is they don't tax the body and create any type of stress on the body because you don't have to have any enzymes to break them down. That is important if you've got a compromised digestion, if you've got liver congestion, maybe you've even had a gallbladder removed, and so you don't metabolize fat very well. If you're chocked full of seed oil, you're already toxic. These are fats that we utilize directly in our metabolism program that you can have access to that will give your body usable energy because these fats go right into the portal vein, right into the liver, and they are used for energy. So if you want to do one thing right now to increase your energy, stop eating seed oil and replace it with short chain triglycerides, SCT oil. There isn't a better way to support your gut, your brain, your liver for fat burning and to create outrageous amounts of energy. It is my number one go-to. I don't live life without chiropractic care, and I definitely don't live life without SCT oil.
Yeah, which I think it's a good, this is a great place right here to even pause. simply because we've got our SCT oil right now. We actually have a promo going on for the
Yeah.
month of June where you can actually get 15% off of your SCT oil purchase along with our thermostat product. And I know with our thermostat product, a lot of people are like, how do I maintain having a healthy metabolism? I know for me, when we produced this, this was a game changer for
Yeah.
me. This is the one thing that I use. It's kind of like my magic. If there was a magic pill or a magic bullet, this would be the one. This is the one that I
That's
know
good.
for sure when I'm doing my thermostat on a daily basis, I'm not going to get those energy swings all day long. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people, like say you eat, you feel like you have a lot of energy, and then it starts to crash. I know as long as I'm taking my thermostat every single day, I don't get those energy swings, those crashes. My energy is sustained all the way
Mhm.
through until it's time for me to be able to go to bed. And I don't have to feel like I need caffeine and or coffee to be able to get me into the next meeting, the next podcast, the next whatever it is that we have going on,
Uh-huh.
which is why I think with the thermostat, along with the SCT oil, is the perfect energy stack to be able to maintain that energy throughout the day.
Yeah, and we paired them together, SCT oil and our thermostat capsule together, because one of the biggest problems now in America with metabolic disease is what's called NAFLD. It's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They call it steatosis, which just means your liver is accumulating fat. And when you're accumulating fat in your liver and it's congested, you're no longer going to be able to create bile, so you can't detox. You can't fully get things out of your system. You can't create energy. You can't even emulsify and break down fat. There's been studies done with SCT oil, directly dosing the body with short chain fats as you stop eating seed oil to help pull that out of your system. And then with our thermostat product, there was a double blind study done, which is the gold standard in any type of scientific study, where we literally took the components. There's two components in the thermostat product. One of those is a globe thistle extract, and it outperformed milk thistle almost 2 to 1 with decongesting the liver and reducing visceral fat. So these two powerful products, when you put some SCT oil, heck, throw it into your coffee with some trace mineral salts. Take a couple of capsules of the thermostat. You can set your body up first thing in the morning to start liberating fatty acids, burning more fat, and setting your metabolic profile for the entire day. And it tastes incredible. If SCT oil is the game changer with the addition of thermostat. There's probably not a better 1-2 combination punch to give your body direct source of energy and to start to detox your liver.
I know a better 1-2 punch.
What's that?
It's called the Happy Healthy Guys, Rob and Randy. 1-2.
Boom, boom. I love it.
There you go.
That's a pretty good punch right there.
All right. So, would we call that like our friend? So another thing is that as I'm thinking, this is actually a perfect segue into them. You've heard us talk about them a little bit lately. Is one of the things to be able to remove and to help remove from the body is toxins.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a toxic liver. So something that can be able to help detox your liver is a product we've been using called Deliverance. But one of the words that we've learned from the folks over at Deliverance, who are she I think is like raised in Majorca, French, British. I don't know.
Swiss.
She's all kind of Swiss. She's all kind of things. But the word we learned was speaking of punches is punchy.
Yeah, punchy. That's
Yeah.
the
So there's a
British.
shout out to Cassandra.
Yeah, punchy,
who taught us
punchy.
the word
Don't
punchy.
be punchy. Liberate those fatty acids from your liver. Yeah, Deliverance is a great product. In fact, it's pretty cool. We're working together now to create a whole even new protocol that's going to support ultimately liver detoxification. But that's one of the reasons why we created our Happy Healthy Metabolism program. That was really born out of a real challenge where, 15 years ago, my liver was completely stuffed and chocked full of cancerous cells. It was literally swollen with diseased tissue and fatty accumulation. My liver was sticking out of my body. And now, even getting my liver score with Deliverance, Siggy, and Cassandra, their testing, there was zero steatosis, no liver accumulate or no fat accumulation in my liver. I had the liver of somebody 20 and 30 years younger. I believe you had the similar, if not the same score. So if you don't know how healthy your metabolism is, I can tell you right now, if you're struggling with any of the things that we've talked about, with you don't have the energy, you're not sleeping well, you're gaining fat around the midsection, around the adrenal area. You can't stabilize your blood sugar. Chances are you do have a fatty liver that's breaking down. You may have NAFLD. Almost 94% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. So we did create a program to help you detox your body from seed oil, start to liberate those fatty acids out of the liver to help you heal and create the energy that you need. So if you've not been to metabolismscore.com, you want to go there right now, take that quiz, find out exactly what is the health of your metabolism, because at the end of the day, if you don't have great metabolic health, if you don't have a great foundation, all the gadgets and trinkets and products and supplements in the world really aren't going to change it. You've got to go deep at a cellular level to now create real fat adaptation and also create real metabolic flexibility where you can burn glucose. Really, cellular health and energy, it may really boil down to those two things: your body's ability to burn fat and liberate fat for energy, and your body's ability to break down and utilize glucose from carbohydrates and also store carbohydrates in the form of glycogen in your liver and your muscle. That is metabolic flexibility, fat adaptation, and insulin sensitivity. Metabolismscore.com could change your life.
All right, we got about 7 minutes left, so we got to fly through these. Okay,
Let's do it.
So another one is just literally resetting your body's circadian rhythm. Okay, one of the best ways to be able to do that is even like a daily meditation practice. You know, waking up, getting into a gratitude practice. But the main thing about that is consistency. It's like literally doing it every single day. Getting up in the morning, getting your body into that early morning sunlight light. Take your shoes off, make sure that you're actually earthing, get your feet on the ground. You know what? The earth is probably the biggest energetic thing that we even have, right? And so
no, there isn't. There isn't anything more powerful than your feet on the ground and the sunlight in your eyes. God gave us that, and it costs you nothing. If you just did those two things, your energy is going to triple. Trust me. Cut out seed oil, feet on the ground, sun in your eyes. Stay away from these stinking toxins. Avoid the medical system at all costs. Had to throw that one in there.
Yeah, move daily. One of the things we love to do is wham, walking after meals. I did it last night. It was awesome last night. The moon is almost full. Just looking, watching the moon just does something to help reset that circadian.
You can also dam.
Yeah, you can also dam, which we've learned is from our friend Margie, who's actually listening right now, which means dancing after meals. You could dance after meals as well. I love to do that while I'm walking. I like to interchange the two.
Yeah, and if there was one thing to do, if you were going to do one exercise, it is walking. There isn't anything more powerful. It is so amazing just to walk, clear your mind, clear your thoughts, feet on the ground. It's definitely one of the best exercises you can do. It's ancestrally consistent. You don't have to join a gym. It doesn't have to be complicated. And it's beautiful after meals to help support metabolic health with increasing insulin sensitivity.
All right. Last but not least on this one is to make sure that you are nourishing your nervous system. So remove those things that actually put stress onto your nervous system. For example, it could be like sitting down like we are right now all day long could be something that could be putting a ton of stress onto your nervous system. So you want to get up, you want to walk around. If you're that person that is working working from home behind a computer all day long, get one of those stand-up desks. I know at home, I've got a stand-up desk so I can raise it. I'm standing as I'm working. I'm never sitting because that puts more stress on your body than anything that you could ever imagine. You've got even a breath work practice, which I absolutely have fallen in love with this year. I do it every single day. There's apps that you can get onto, whether it's Soma Breath is an app that you can be able to get onto. There's many of them that are out there, but daily breath work practice is great to help relax your body's nervous system.
Yeah, I would even say too, just a practical tip with if you are having to sit at all, maybe every 15 to 30 minutes, you maybe want to get up, stretch, move around. But if you are sitting, and I'm doing it right now, I always make sure that I focus on the arch in my lower back. So I arch my lower back because when you sit, you can even double and triple the axial load, the compression on your spine. And if you round out your lower back, your head will automatically go forward. And this is that old age dangerous posture where you rob yourself of energy. They've already done this. They've done the studies on this. When you are in a poor posture position where your head is forward, you're getting less oxygen to the tissues and you're not creating as much energy. So focus on arch your lower back. That way, if your back is arched, Your head will not go forward. It'll stay more over your shoulders. So think about your posture when you're sitting, because you can really create severe damage to your nervous system and to your spine and to the discs, which is only going to create less energy in your body.
All right, so I'll run through some real quick. So things that can be able to help nourish your nervous system are going to be things like prayer daily. In fact, they've actually been able to do these studies that they're measuring right now, where you could actually be praying for somebody that literally is states away from you. And they've actually been able to now measure that that person's nervous system is actually decreased in the stress, and you're not even in the same place, which is wild to me. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that Joe Dispenza has been doing now with a lot of his research.
You
So
must be reading the Bible.
probably,
About
yeah.
time.
So yeah, so prayer there.
Yeah.
We got laughter, stillness, even tools that you can use. Like one of the tools that we recommend to be able to nourish your nervous system is using a brain tap. We'll put the
Yeah.
links to these places in the show notes. And then you also have one of the things right now, and we've talked about this before, is like cold exposure, like a cold plunge. You've got sauna,
I
red light
prefer the
therapy.
sauna,
Yep.
especially too. I mean, not that cold plunge can't be powerful, but I'd be lying if I said I use cold plunging. But sauna, I use sauna every single week. Speaking of getting rid of fat soluble toxins like the parabens that we talked about and the plastics, there isn't a better way than to create the heat, especially in a restful state when your body's in a parasympathetic state. So not even sweating through exercise, but a relaxed state of sweating. Sauna is perfect to help remove those toxins from your body, which will help create more energy, because all of those plastic toxins and those parabens obviously disrupt your mitochondria and create real stress on your body.
Last but not least, I'd say, you know what? Something you can do to nourish your nervous system is connection, right?
Oh, that's
So
huge.
we talked about that even last week. One of the reasons why we're wanting to go to one of these blue zones in Sardinia
We'll
is
be there.
because of the community there and the community that you get with just connection. And that could be connection with God, connection with family, connections with others that are like-minded, but connection is so, so huge.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's where we've got one thing to talk about. We'll talk about our case of the week, but I'll leave you on the energy side of things with, you know what, just remember that energy is a reflection of your alignment physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So keep yourself aligned and you'll keep yourself energetic. Case of the
Amen.
week.
Yeah, let's talk about Nicole. Pretty powerful case. She's been working with us now probably a year,
Yeah, right on
and
here.
has some of her struggles before were obviously weight gain, which kind of really got her to the table with us. But a lot of hormone problems, a lot of liver issues, especially elevated liver enzymes. She had all kind of digestive problems, and ultimately, going into the medical system, they eventually removed her gallbladder. So now removing the gallbladder, if you're one of those people who've had your gallbladder removed, you probably noticed it became a lot harder to keep weight off. You start to store more body fat because bile plays a huge role in the liver's ability to conjugate and remove fat soluble toxins. So once the liver is now no longer has the storage with the bile and the gallbladder, now you're going to become more toxic and your body's going to gain more fat. It is a vicious, vicious cycle. But the great news for Nicole is she's gone through our program now. At least she's done one or two of our metabolism programs. She's gone through our Happy Healthy for Life program. She's gone through our gut health program. She's really, really done a complete transformation with her body. And now she's dialed back in with one of our newest metabolism programs. And I just talked to her yesterday. She's in week 3 and she's down 17 pounds.
Amazing.
And this is something where she used to even have to take enzymes, hydrochloric acid, ox bile, and a supplement to even break down and emulsify fat. Her body's gotten so efficient and her liver's gotten so efficient to metabolize fat for energy. She doesn't even need that anymore and doesn't have the nauseous feeling after eating a fatty meal. So very powerful, losing the weight, hormones balancing, liver stronger. There is hope if you've been through the system and they've removed organs or put you on drugs, or you've ever been on antibiotics, or treated all your symptoms, and you have a really toxic body that just doesn't want to let go of fat. There is hope. We created our metabolism program just for you. We're going to detox you from seed oil, get you fat adapted, get you insulin sensitive, help you create outrageous amounts of energy. This is doable and it's very powerful. And this is a very busy mom who's got kids, a husband, wife, job, crazy things going on. yet making your health number one is the best thing you can do. So shout out to you, Nicole. We love you. We're so proud of you. Great job. You are kicking butt as this incredible mom. You are a super mom, no doubt about it. Shout out to all the super moms out there and the super grandmas. You ladies rock.
Absolutely. So the call to action on that would be, if you're wondering if you maybe like Nicole, is to go to metabolismscore.com, see how your metabolism is doing, and just follow all of the prompts from that. With that being said, we are out. Like this, share it, review it, give us a 5-star review. If you have any questions, as always, you can go to the H2 Life on Instagram. Send us your questions there, your comments, your wins. We love hearing them. It reminds us why it is that we love what it is we do.
Amen.
Thanks again for listening, and you guys have a great rest of your week.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram at the H2 Life or on YouTube and Facebook at the Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.